Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of T-Dog RC, and T-Dog's back. So here we are for another episode. I know it's been a little while since I put one out, so apologies for that. I think it's been about a month or so, but basically I've been moving house. But here we are in the new workshop, and today we're going to be doing a quick tour around the workshop. Not that there's a massive amount to see, but I thought I'd just show you what's going on. Having a quick look at this, which is the QT Models T45 Goshawk, available from Banggood, and also talking about what's coming up on the channel. So grab yourself a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and let's get stuck in. Okay, so I'm filming this on my GoPro, which is stabilized. And I'm using the tripod just to sort of hold the camera. So apologies if it's a little bit shaky, but hopefully it won't be too bad. So first things first, the bench is still here, and we'll be doing plenty more unboxing videos and build videos from here. Yeah, that's back as it was. Over here, couple of things just to talk about. You've seen all these anyway, but still got the EF Extra to finish setting up, and we'll be maiden in that soon. There is the MiG-15, which you've seen a few videos on that. That is an old T45 EDF from Hobby King. I think the kit is still available. I think it's something stupid like £30 to buy. It's pretty basic. It's a little bit rough and ready, but actually it flies really well. That's a 4S, and I've got a 12 blade EDF in that, but I am probably going to be, well, I think I'm going to get rid of it because I don't really need two of them. So if you like the look of that, look out on eBay because it will be appearing on there soon. And then that is an old ST Models MX2 sort of 3D plane. Had mixed results with that. Not the biggest fan of it. It's covered, the whole thing is just stickers, so there's no paint on it or anything like that. So it's a little bit messy when you get up close to it, and also the undercarriage is really weak. So not the best. Then over here, we've got my Hummer, which you've seen. And then through there, you can see the good old Hobby King Tundra. That's the last thing I flew before lockdown, because we're back in lockdown here in the UK. So I flew that just at the end of October, just literally took it down the field, chucked it up in the air and had a few flights with it, just to get the last bit of stick time before lockdown. And then here we've got the good old Tiger Moth. I'm really getting into this, really enjoying flying it. At the moment I've got the cowl off because I've got to do a bit of work on it. So the engine needs a bit more tuning. So you see here, this is the other side of the needle valve. That is the idle adjustment screw, and because it's running really rich on idle and it's running a little bit rough sort of through idle to mid-range, so I need to have a play around with that and lean that off a little bit. I've also had a few problems with the cowl and getting the cowl on and then trying to get the exhaust to stay on, because it's hard to tighten it once the cowl's on, so I just need to do a bit of adjustment around the cowl to sort that out. But at the moment I'm flying it with the cowl off, so I can mess around with the needle valve adjustment, but it flies fine with the cowl off. Obviously it doesn't look quite as nice, but yeah, it's just really reminds me of the good old days, you know, nitro engine, balsa model. It chugs along, makes a really nice sound, and it's really nice to fly. So highly recommend one of those if you're thinking about getting into nitro. It's not a bad way to go because it flies sort of so slow and nice and stable. And then looking at what we've got, bit of a workshop setup here. So got a Dremel and it's got all the gubbins with it. So that's going to be very useful using the grinding wheel to do the cowl, for example. Also got one of these little things, which is a Dremel pillar drill attachment. So the Dremel goes in there and then it allows you to do some sort of fine drilling on there, which is going to be pretty useful. And then also got one of these set up, which is a bandsaw. It's quite a small little compact bandsaw, and used to have one of these years ago when I used to do a bit of modelling. Aero modelling, that is, not actual modelling, of course. Yeah, obviously not quite the same now. Lots of people are into foam models, but if you're still doing a lot of balsa work, then I would highly recommend investing in a little bandsaw. This is only a cheap one, but you know, for cutting through light ply and bolt sword and stuff like that, you can get the cuts so neat and it's so quick. It's very useful. And then last few bits just to show you, not very interesting because this is just a bunch of empty shelves, but just sorted out these shelves. This is basically going to be full of modelling kit within the next few days. So I've got loads of old kits that are currently, well, not old kits, but unboxed kits that are currently in storage. So going to get all that back and filled out on those shelves. And then in these boxes in here, I've got to go through all this lot and sort it out, but I've got all sorts of stuff in here which I've been using for various bits and bobs. So I've got glue, I've got old undercarriage, heat shrink tubing. What else we got in here? Brand new Zoe HD co-pilot. This looks like Hobby Eagle stabilizer, receivers. Whoops. That's another stabilized receiver there. I've got all sorts of crap in there. So yeah, really need to go through and sort all this out. Got some 3M sticky pads in there for sticking receivers on. That there is a drone, believe it or not, which I've not really flown, so that's perhaps another video I can do. Member of the BMFA, there we go. And also, look at this. That is a brand spanking new Sato FA82B 4-stroke. Yet to be put into a model, but more on that coming up on the channel, so stay tuned. And I've just acquired some of these little Radio Master receivers. Again, perhaps do another little video on those, but they're really nice little receivers if you just need one for S-Bus type stuff. Okay, let's have a look at this Hawk. Right then, as I said, this is a QT Models T45 Goshawk. So it's the American version of the BAE Hawk, which is the British Aerospace Hawk. And it is BAE. I keep hearing people on YouTube calling it a Bay Hawk, but I can tell you, being British, that it's definitely BAE, which is an acronym for British Aerospace. Anyway, this is the American version. So this is adapted for carrier training aircraft. That's what they use it in the US Navy, for training their aircraft carrier pilots. I believe, well, I'm pretty sure from what I've seen on various other YouTube channels that have featured this, that it's actually an old FMS model. So the quality of it is really good, and I'm really impressed with this. So I've not, obviously I can't show you an unboxing or a build video because it's built, but I've not actually flown this yet. So I can show you the maiden video. I've actually had it about a year, but I've never got around to flying it, but I will definitely be showing you the maiden video. It's going to be the next new thing that I fly. Weather permitting, because we're just going into winter here in the UK, so it's going to be a bit nasty for a few weeks, but a lot of detail. So if you look on here, you can see some panel lines built into the foam there. It's got flaps as well, which is always nice. Construction was pretty straightforward. This is the PMP version, so it's got all the servos, the ESCs installed, the fans already installed, all that sort of stuff. You just have to glue the vertical stabilizer on and the horizontal stabilizers. They were just a little bit tricky to line up, but I think I've got it about right. But because with it being a Hawk, they sort of slope down, and one of them didn't quite slot into place as neatly as I wanted it to, but I think I got it pretty much symmetrical. But that's just something to be aware of if you get one of these. And then a bit of cockpit detail there, you can see as well. There's no pilots. I'm not always a fan of pilots, to be honest. But yeah, a little bit of cockpit detail. And then the cockpit's really nice because it's not a magnet one, it's got a proper latch system. So just slide that back and this lifts off. So let's have a quick look inside. Nice big battery bay. I've just got a little 3S just to demo it to you, but this is a 6S, so there's loads of room in there to put a 6S battery. It comes with this little mixer board here, which is all plugged in, ready to go for you. So from that mixer board, you then go into your receiver. So it's quite a nice little neat setup they've got going on there. And then this is something else I wanted to show you on today's video. Is I use a 4-in-1 multi-protocol radio, so like a jumper or radio master, which of course are getting really, really popular these days. And even though it's multi-protocol, I tend to just use FreeSky stuff with it. But this is the first one I've tried, and this has actually got a Spectrum-based receiver, although this is the Lemon RX version. So if I tilt this, you might be able to see it a little bit better. And this is the stabilised receiver, so this has got a 3-axis gyro built into it, which is why you can hear the servos twitching away. It's a manual adjustment of the gain, so I'm going to have to just sort of take it up, see how it flies, and then adjust these little pots when I get it back down if there's too much gain or not enough gain. But it's really quite easy to set up as a gyro. So like the orientation, it doesn't matter whether you lie it flat or lie it on its side like I have. It figures all that out itself. So that's quite good. It's a lot easier to set up than some other, particularly like the FreeSky S8R and S6R. They're an all-in-one receiver stabilisation system, but they're so finicky to get set up. This one's really, really easy, which is why I wanted to try it. And then it's also got a little satellite receiver here in the nose. So hopefully I've got some decent coverage, because I have read a few things about Spectrum, people getting blackouts and things like that from some of the Spectrum stuff, but hopefully that won't happen. These get really good reviews, these Lemon RX receivers, but as I say, this is the first time I've used the SMX protocol, but I thought I've got a 4-in-1 radio, so why not give it a go. And talking about that, if you are thinking of getting one of these yourself, it is a little bit finicky to set up. So if I just show you on my radio here, on the mixers, it doesn't follow the same channel order basically as FreeSky does. So if you just get it out of the box and plug it in as you would a FreeSky radio, you'll find that all your surfaces are mixed up, and crucially you might find that the throttle's in the wrong place, which could be quite dangerous if it's a propeller plane. So my advice is to get this, if you get one of these little Lemon RX or any Spectrum based receiver and you want to connect it to a 4-in-1 radio, just get it on the bench with one servo and get all your mixers set up first so you know what's going into what, because on the receiver themselves they don't say channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, etc. like a FreeSky does. They actually just say aileron, rudder, throttle, and their aileron might not necessarily be the same as a FreeSky aileron, if that makes sense. So you can see here I've got channel 1 set as aileron, 2 rudder, 3 is throttle, 4 is elevator. I've got 5 set up as the gyro, 6, so that's gyro on and off, so I can switch it off. Obviously for the maiden I'm going to have it switched off, but I can control that from here. I've got my gear on channel 6, I've got flaps on channel 7, and then I did have gain on channel 8, but that doesn't actually work with this particular receiver. I thought it did, but I was wrong about that, so I need to actually probably just delete that off there. And just to show you some of the surfaces in action, just to show you that I have got it all set up correctly. So that's right aileron, up and down, rudder right, rudder left, and then we've got flaps here, which I've slowed these down as well. Flaps up, flaps down. So I've just used the OpenTX to slow the movement of those, and then we'll cycle the gear as well, because that's obviously pretty cool. There we go. Love the way that nose wheel goes forwards on this. And these are trailing link, I believe, so they're sprung. So they're quite nice. They are quite small, so going off grass is going to be a little bit tricky, particularly this front wheel, because that, as with this being the Navy trainer, one of the things that they did that's different to the BAE Hawk is this has got twin wheels on the front, so it can take the catapult system on an aircraft carrier, whereas this normal Hawk just got a single wheel. So this is going to be a little tricky on grass, but our field's fairly flat and the grass is very well kept, so hopefully it won't be too much of a problem, but that's just something to be aware of. And this is also sprung as well. There's quite a bit of movement in there as well, so should be quite nice with it all being sprung. So all in all, pretty nice kit. Quality of it's good, and I'd, based on the kit, obviously I've not flown it yet, but recommend having a look at one of these. Okay, so that's it for this video. Hope you've enjoyed it. It's good to be back. Thanks a lot for sticking with me, and as ever, if this is the first time you've come across the channel, then please like and subscribe. To subscribe, you just click the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. If you are subscribed already, then give me a thumbs up, give me a like, because that helps me appear higher up on YouTube searches. And as I've mentioned before, if you fancy one of these, I'll put an affiliate link in the description below. It is an affiliate link, so it means that if you go and buy one, this one's from Banggood, I will get some credit in my Banggood account to spend on Banggood's website, which doesn't cost you anything, but obviously it helps me out, particularly with me doing YouTube. Gives me the opportunity to buy more things and do more stuff with the channel. So got some really good stuff planned. I've, as I said, got an exciting project coming up with that Sato 4-stroke and a nice Balsa model. So I'll be doing a couple of unboxings with both the model and the engine as well. Got the wing to finish, the Reptile S800. So got a build video of that, and obviously a maiden of that. Got the EFX Racer to maiden, and just finish off as well, just to get the co-pilot set up. So got that to maiden. I've also got in the pipeline a Phoenix 2400 Volantex glider. Obviously no good at the minute with it being winter, but I can at least do an unboxing and a build video of that. So that's just a couple of the things I've got coming up, but you wouldn't believe how many models I've got in storage that I can review and unbox and maiden on the channel. So I've got tons of stuff to talk about. Thanks a lot to all current subscribers, and I shall see you soon.